Hello, lovelies. Welcome. Happy Saturday to all of you. So nice to be here. Welcome, Donna and Mary Beth, first in the door. Hello. Nice to see you again. Twice in one day. Dee, hail and well met, everyone. Love that. Saskia, Kalispera to you. And Clevis, namaste. Namaste. I am going to do a reading today just to focus and sort of get in the mood. I haven't done a reading for the opening of Scorpio season. And on the table, I have my focus cards for Scorpio from Mel Maline's Tabula Mundi. And I thought I would read a little bit in her words of wisdom, as this is quite a different death card. Noon is fish, a symbol of resurrection. Death is the secret of creation. The fish in this case is a salmon with its spawning representative of the cycle of life and death. It should be noted that death and the devil are opposites on the tree of life, and death is the lord of the gates of death, while the devil is the lord of the gates of matter. And death and life are intertwined. They say death rides a pale horse. I say death rides a feathered serpent. The skeleton rides a composite creature that comprises of the three aspects of the sign Scorpio, representing the three stages of putrefaction. The scorpion is the lowest form of its tail. The first stage, or beginning of the element's will to change. The mid part of the beast is the undulating serpent of the cycle of life and death. And the upper part is the eagle, the gaseous or purest stage, which rises in exaltation above matter. This putrefaction is incubation. This is the raising of the Djed, symbolizing by the haft of the scythe in the form of the Djed pillar. The Djed pillar represents the spine of Osiris and the spine of its anagram of penis. This ritual is the resurrection of Osiris, and the skeleton wears the tough crown, the feathered white crown worn by Osiris. You know, there's something about Malmaline's intersection of it, and in this way, this card reminds me a little bit of the Marielle Tarot. And I'm thinking of, I think it is 10 of swords in the Marielle Tarot. And all of the 10s symbolize death in some way. The wheel, and this willingness to completely, utterly let something come apart and die, become ash, so that perhaps we can allow it to grow in a new way. Energy is, after all, never gone. It's only transformed. And I know this is out of focus, sorry. It's because I've zoomed in. Let's see if that stays with us. And so I get inspired. I get inspired by writers like this and concepts of taking the symbology of the tarot apart and rebuilding it and understanding all of the, how all the bits and pieces come together. The mythology that is wound through this book, which is falling apart. It needs to be resewn, or I need to sit down one day and retape the whole book, is really something. And I think there's a cleverness to the way that she explains her symbols. So maybe one day I will go back and do another Decan walk and use this deck and maybe bring in the Rosetta Tarot as well too. I have a couple forms of that tarot, and just reconnect to the, shall I call it the nerdiness of the symbology of the decans. But as we, not but, and as we have entered into this first week of Scorpio season, and this idea of truly letting something putrefy, dissolve, die, turn to ash. I wonder if there is something of which each of us is not necessarily unaware, but have just kind of put on the back burner, that maybe things would be a whole lot easier if we actually let this die. I think this is such a great theme as we step towards Samhain, to look at the grace of death and the beauty of death and the gift of death. And I especially like that part of that. I have this vision of just a little sprout coming up from the ground, this new growth and this new life, which I'm going to talk about as we step into the Seven of Coins today. This is a Seven of Coins from the Margaret Peterson Tarot. I'm going to shuffle Julia Jeffries' I was going to call it Tarot of the Crone, but that's not the name of the deck. Witch Sister Tarot, that's it. Can the energy of the wise ones in the Witch Sister Tarot help us to understand, discover once again an aspect of death that we have forgotten to process, to work through? Yes, this is a reading for the collective, but may you all find some personal insight and connection to the cards that are drawn today. And as always, I ask this message be in the highest, for the greatest good, and that no harm be done. So be it. Oh my goodness, this looks like ballet. Interesting, the intersection of symbols that are going to come up today. We are going to look at the labyrinth. The labyrinth is part of the story of the Mythologia Fennica. The cards that we're looking at today, we see that in the Margaret Peterson. I know that it's part of the Greenwood as well, too, in one of the cards. Time. Time is ever changing. Life is always in flow, whether we want it to be or not. And this concept of perpetual motion, that's not the right word, this energy always being, yes, that is such a good link to what Margaret Peterson talks about in this card, and that is, thanks to the decay, we are blessed with the nutrients for the new life. And there's something about this card to me that really acknowledges the passage of life. and the interconnectedness of the future with the past, and how time is just a never-ending cycle of mystery and magic. There's something in this picture of reflection. And there's something here as well, too. I said these arms reminded me of ballet dancers. There's a creativity as well, too, in this, that we can, with spirit, co-create these changes as they happen, that we can be involved if we are not blinded to or blinded by the busyness of our lives. Ace of Stones. And ooh, I love how that's coming out of my picture. I will take that. I will take that transformation. Now, another beautiful connection here, though I'm sure Julia Jeffries doesn't write about this, is the 16th Arcanum has a Mars connection, and it is deeply and powerfully transformative as part of our spiritual journey. So there's something here really about embracing change. We have this repeating symbol in the Ace of Stones and the Two of Stones, and we have the metaphor of the snake. And I suppose many of us would not connect the snake to the earth element, but the snake moves within the earth and upon the earth, and is this beautiful symbol of the ease with which one sheds a part of one's life and then just carries on. The flow, there's a constant flow, and I think the snake really fits into this energy of the flow of life. So let us all just sort of, it's like a shedding of a cloak so that we can step forward curiously, confidently, just naturally into the next phase, and allow the shedding to be, there's so much beauty in this card. It's like this force of nature is attracted to the heart space, and the heart space calls in the change. Perhaps there will be a snake that crosses your path. Perhaps you will see a labyrinth carved in a tree, or there will be something that looks like an Ouroboros as you are out and about in the next few days. Find your connection here. This one is, I don't know, it's almost freeing. And I can't bring to mind exactly what this might mean for myself, but I want to allow this with every cell of my being. I think I'm going to leave these on my altar. Beautiful. With that, let's step into the 7 of stones, the 7 of coins. and the mountain trolls of Mythologia Fennica. I was thinking about Mythologia Fennica, and it reminds me in a way of my time in Japan and visiting Shinto shrines everywhere. Whether you're high in the mountain or down at the sea or wherever you are, there's shrines everywhere. And the Japanese culture is one that honors and captures the essence of spirit in every part of nature and honors it. I don't know if it's as a protector, but it's a force that if we respect, will work with us as we move through our days and our life. Thanks for confirming that, Donna. I appreciate it. So the Seven of Stones. Wow. Let me read Margaret Peterson's words, and then I'll just go on from there and talk about these trolls a little bit as well, too. Seven of Stones. Healing in the Greenwood Tarot. Growth and decay. And for those of you that are fans of the Hush Tarot, this is very much an ongoing theme of the Hush Tarot, one that I no longer have in my library, but became sort of took on a life of itself, and I actually may repurchase it. When I, in hindsight, have reflected on what I got out of studying that tarot, and I came up with my little story of what's it called? The Met. It was like the Hush Tarot is post-apocalypse around the Met in New York. And we see the jewels and the masks and the props from the theater in the decay of that scene. And it's from that crisis, major shift in energy of the land, of the earth, that new life begins to grow. And sometimes we really need to take it to that level in order to know the new. And Seven of Coins, I think, is a very difficult card to interpret in the Waite-Smith Tarot. It has come for me to be about allowing nature to take its course by respecting the energy of nature, by respecting nature, the goddess Shakti itself, and not trying to, by observing it, by being in the energy of nature and the land, I can learn from it and I can receive its energy. Lost my train of thought. Okay, so let's go on. Growth and decay. Doing while not doing. You can neither touch, eat, hear, see, nor hold on to time. Time is very powerful. No one can escape the laws of time. Matter is inhabited by time and defined by it. This card tells the stories of time. Different stratums containing rock drawings. A skeleton whose flesh has returned to the soil. The lifespan of plants, people, animals, and bacteria is ruled by different but interconnected intervals of time. Growth is possible because of decay. Decay is inevitable because of growth. The secret of beauty is revealed in the inconceivable. The beauty of a flower opening already shows the aura of decay. Don't interfere. Commit yourself to the process of growth. And I also think about that British film. It was a massive cast of some of my favorite actresses. And I remember that one line where the husband of one of the women said they were raising sunflowers, and how the women of the older generation reflect they are the most beautiful. So when the flower comes into its greatest beauty is just before it begins to decay. And of course it was expressed more poetically, but it's like the glimpse, right? The glimpse of the beauty is it's a moment we can't hold on to. We can savor it, but it's right there. It's right on the edge of death. And so interesting that this particular card, decanically speaking, isn't anywhere near Scorpio season. 7 of Coins is at that transition between Taurus and Gemini. And this is the 3rd decan of Taurus. So maybe this card is also about exactly what I said, just being fully present with the beauty of life, and then also allowing it to do what it will. The mountain trolls. Oh my goodness. Now this one is a bit of a stretch for me. And what I was saying earlier about this deck reminding me of Shinto practices. It's not really a religion, paganism, is that there is an honoring of the spirit of every rock. Donna. Dear Donna. Every rock, every plant, having an energy that is worthwhile of consideration. And my takeaway from the mountain trolls in this deck, so the mountain trolls are this force of energy that live in the mountain. And if I think about, and I'm really thinking Tolkien here, I'm thinking about great mountains with energetic beings that live within, and the relationship with. You could also think too of the stirring of the fire, like in a volcano. That in a way, those trolls are that stirring of energy that may break through crevices in the spirit of the mountain. Honestly, some of these myths have really, they've really stretched my experience with the tarot. I think it is in the Disney film Frozen, when I saw the rock trolls and how the rock trolls come to life, and then they turn back into, then they go back into rocks. I think there's something about an aspect of self. And this might connect into the whole theme of the reading today, but okay. Maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but in order to allow the lightning to do its work, there is a destructive force that is required. There is an act of destruction that is required. And I think the naughtiness, the deception of the, let's call it an archetype of the troll, most definitely has a place. And maybe we have to wander into the depths of our darkness to allow that force to become strong enough to crack things open. And my scarf is throwing rocks around on my table. It's kind of cool. If you think about it, even if you think about a Seven of Pentacles in a Waite Smith inspired deck, and this idea of, if we don't disturb the soil, the energy within the plant will bring forth the new life, the new growth. And not everyone will come to full fruit. But sometimes the more we mess with it, the more destruction we do. We need to allow it to come out. So there's this dance between interference and letting things just be. And how is this a card of healing? Well, I'm going to turn to the more descriptive words in the Wildwood Tarot, or a line or two. I'm very curious to see if the new guidebook for the Greenwood has more, more written in it. So this is healing, which looks kind of similar in the Wildwood, but it's still the same card. One of the deepest stages of healing and recovery after any emotional trauma or physical injury is forgiveness. If the healing is from a relationship issue, we often hold on to the pain, mistakenly believing that it keeps us close to the source of that pain. So this is what I'm talking about. We have a relationship break apart, or we have a physical pain, and we focus on the disease or the injury or the relationship break apart rather than being in connection with the process of it as part of our growth. And if you think about the Seven of Pentacles as growth, and no matter what, just allowing it to take its course, it kind of takes on a whole new life. Donna, you're funny. Were you in your garden? Yeah. I don't know. It just makes me think. And I love pulling out, cards like this. And because when I teach the tarot and when I'm working with beginners, and doing my best to explain the layers and the levels of a card such as the Seven of Pentacles. Man, it's really hard to have resources like this. It's pretty special. Pretty special. The these cards, 7, 8, 9, 10 of Pentacles, teach us something about our interaction with this element. And I think sometimes we forget how much energy the elements have. And this one as well, I'm on the wrong one. 8 of stones, wrong one. 8 of coins. And I hope I can come full circle on this card as well too, because when I am working with Waite-Smith, 8 of coins, for me it has come to be this place where you finally figure out who you are and what you are supposed to be doing for your greater good. And the truth is that you knew about it all along, that you've actually had tastes of it previously. And sometimes you can kick yourself and go, oh my God, why did I go through all that other stuff? I could have got here long ago. And for me, that's yoga. When I was 18 years old, I had probably the most powerful yogic experience of my life. And I ran in fear out the door and didn't get back to it for quite some time. And it just makes me angry in a way, because had I stayed, I could have been so far ahead of where I am. It's like I detoured so badly, but it was meant to be, and here I am. So in the 8 of coins, Margaret Peterson talks about the interconnectedness of everything. And here we see this print of this beautiful leaf. But in the health of the leaf and in the stage of the leaf, we know the tree, we know the roots. When you look at a tree that is dying, you can see its interior. Just like when you look at the face of a friend who is not well, you can see within. And this connection of, again, nature taking its course for one reason or another, for death or decay, for healing and growth. There's something here about allowing life to, or being in the rhythm of life and not struggling against it. And when we find the harmony, you find that, let's say you're learning to knit and you've been knitting for years and you kind of like it, but it's kind of awkward. And then finally, maybe you learn a new style or a different style, and it just races off your fingers. And it's like, wow, okay, I get it now. And you can do it talking and not even aware of what you're doing. And it becomes so seamless, like you're one with all of the forces around you. In the Mythologia Fennica, again, we have another Haltia. And this rather malevolent looking Haltia, I'm going to skip to the conclusion part. The Mahinen. They symbolize all sorts of things and refer to keeping one's feet on the ground, the search for life's fundamental things and our spiritual foundation. The card symbolizes the cultivation of earth for one's own needs. And I really like that. It's like once we know who we are, once we see the connection of all the pieces together, things begin to come together and flow together more easily. People often ask in the Waite Smith, well, is this the master card or the apprentice card? When does the apprentice become the master? And when does the master become the apprentice? And are they not one and the same? Is the master not always evolving and refining his craft? This card symbolizes the cultivation of earth for one's own needs, building on it and digging below it in search of warmth and minerals. The most beautiful and strong plants and flowers grow from nutritious soil. Wow. Okay, so these little not again. The Mahinens lived like humans. They raised cattle, practiced agriculture, and were very skilled at all kinds of crafts. They married, had children, and grew old just like humans. They didn't really care for their elderly and tried from time to time to change them for human children. Oh, it goes on to talking about changelings and whatnot. The Mahinens didn't want to reveal the way to their homes. Yeah, so there's kind of a secretive nature to this archetype. And then there's a little bit about Rudolf Steiner. So those of you that are in the education field might find this interesting. Rudolf Steiner believed that every person had in their being an aspect that was a Mahinen, a Mahi's side. If the Mahi's side is absent or weak, that person is disconnected from the earth and unable to grasp daily chores. If the Mahi's side is fine, its owner is well-being and active, and usually at least fairly successful in everything they try. When a person has a strong connection to the energies of the earth, they are healthy and balanced and successful. And so I can really see that as the success of this card. And if you're looking at the number 8 and the flow of energy that is represented in the number of 8 and the leveling, like I see the number 8 more as what do you call it? The pattern, you never go back to where you were. Each time you go around that cycle, you have elevated your skills in a different way. You're never the same person. You have leveled up in a way, and you can't go back. You just continue to grow and develop. And yet, I think sometimes in this suit, we forget certainly it comes up in the Six of Pentacles, but the grace and the blessing of our connection to the earth, even though it is the earth, this experience, this Malkut experience that causes us so much chaos, and confusion, and is so very, very challenging. It's really a difficult suit to navigate. It's a difficult place to navigate. It's nothing like the beauty and the high frequency and the harmonies and chorus of the higher higher fields. So yeah, so maybe that will bring you a new layer into the Eight of Pentacles. And I will do one more. I was going to do the 10 again today, but one of my daughters is returning home and I need to go and pick her up. 9 of coins, 9 of stones, and look at these incredible connections. So there's something kind, I had such a relationship when I was young and walked away. What's that expression about? And I don't think it's necessarily about people. You know, sometimes the expression uses the word footprints. You know, people leave footprints on your heart. People come into your lives, some people for a moment, others for years, others for a lifetime. But they all affect us in these ways, and they are here for as long as they need to be. And that's it. And sometimes that can be really hard to process. And in the 9 here, this is really deep, quite literally. So think of the earth and the depth of the earth and the complexity of the layers of the earth. Think of your DNA. Think of all of your lifetimes intertwined as this complex living matter. And here in the 9 of coins, all of these cards honor the depth of this connection. We are who we are because of all that our ancestors endured. Whether you are reflecting on one of your particular past lives, or you're reflecting on the collective energy of all of the traditions of your ancestors, which really is all of humankind, it's such a blessing and such a gift. And so in the 9 of stones, the 9 of coins, I feel there is a prayer of sorts and immense gratitude for all of the blessings that surround me. And in these cards, I feel the endeavor of spiritual connection and tradition with the earth. Whether you are sitting in dhyan, in a meditation, whether you are walking meditatively through a labyrinth, or in ritual, in ceremony, in a stone circle, there's this deep, deep connection with all that has come before. And it kind of makes you feel small, but equally gets all those little hairs standing up all over your body when you know and you understand the power of this connection. It's crazy. It's beautiful. And this, to me, makes so much more sense than feeling the, I don't know. So, the 9 of Pentacles in the everyday witch tarot, like that. There's a bit of irreverence of all that I have. At least that's the way I feel. I mean, I loved sitting on a lounge chair having a glass of wine and enjoying my garden. But these cards pull me into, yes, let's come back to the energy of it. Let's come back to the gratitude of it and the energy of gratitude. Let's come into the heart space and call in your ancestors, if you will. There's a really beautiful meditation in the Wildwood Tarot for the Judgment card, I think it is. It's the one with the Great Bear, that card. And it's like if we allow we listen to the energy around us and we make space to be quiet and be one with the earth and all of that surrounds us, we find this knowing, this inner knowing that really helps us navigate the challenges here in this life that we lead. And there's a protection of sorts, isn't there? Whether you are a part of the circle, standing or sitting with your cohorts, or whether you are within the circle, there's levels of protection and connection, and it reminds us just how, I feel like all of these cards are kind of hounding in this message of how interconnected everything is. And if we embrace this notion, how much easier it will be to navigate this space that we occupy here on this place we call Earth or home. Yeah. Really, I needed this today. I really did. Thank you for your chat. I love hanging out with you guys on Saturday, and I'm going to cut it a bit short today. My daughter, my baby, who's only 18, has been away traveling, and it's the first time she has traveled. She went with a friend, or met her friend when she was away. First time she's traveled on her own, so as a mother, there's always worry that goes with that. But she had a great trip, and I'm going to go pick her up. So I will see you next Saturday, and we'll carry on with the 10 of Stones. And just to let you know that I will be going to the major arcana after we finish the court cards for this suit. Okay? Thank you. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.